That dude, whether you agree with him or not, fights for what he believes in.
Yep.
And,
At least if you disagree with him, you know he's telling you the truth about what he feels and thinks.
Exactly. And I would imagine that as far as election integrity is concerned, he would probably be with the rest of anybody who's no hack in saying, yeah, this is pretty freaking important.
Yep. 100%. And it's infuriating to me. Dave, I appreciate the call as always, man. Thank you so much. You know, the Chip Roy made the point, and he's so true. It's so true. It's so accurate. With all the fraud we're seeing from illegal aliens, what makes you think that there wouldn't be fraudulent ballots casted by illegal aliens? We know in Minnesota that they had the vouching rule where you could get same-day voter registration. You could vouch for somebody. They didn't need an ID. They didn't need proof of citizenship. They just needed somebody to go, nah, that's my guy. He's good. And that guy who said, nah, that's my guy. He's good. He could do that for up to 8 people. Huh. Weird. I wonder what happened in Minnesota's elections with that rule. Wonder what happened in a lot of these elections. Again, the fraud is at record-breaking levels. We've never seen anything like it. And it seems like every time you turn around, there's a new report about illegal alien fraud. This one came out of Massachusetts, and it was a scheme involving Venezuelans and Dominicans.
This is also breaking. The U.S. Attorney's Office announcing charges in connection with an alleged fraud scheme. It involved more than 100 stolen identities used to obtain over $1 million in SNAP and pandemic unemployment benefits from more than half a dozen states.
Raul Fernandez Vicioso, a naturalized citizen from the Dominican Republic. Fernandez Vicioso and his co-defendants, 2 of whom do not have legal immigration status and 1 is a green card holder, used the stolen EBT cards to purchase large quantities of expensive bulk food items.
Foley says the suspects used that food to stock a restaurant owned by the lead defendant.
Fraud everywhere. Coast-to-coast fraud, actually. I got another one. This is out of California. Dr. Oz exposing hospice fraud in California. You know, hospice, that's where you go when, you're in your last days. He said the hospice fraud in California was pretty egregious because the people that were being put into the hospice had 100% survival rates.
And they're also stealing their ID, and you're stealing their ability to go to take Medicare benefits, because when you go to hospice, you actually give up your insurance to go into a program designed for your last few months of life. Yet, Rob, many of the people in these hospice centers, they have 100% survival rates. Like, no one dies.
Weird. They're
not dying. They're fakely put on these lists.
They're fake dying. That's the worst kind.
And so we need to take this stuff serious. I'm gonna ask one big question to the audience. Are you ready? Why would anyone let this happen? I'm hoping you're all wondering that. I wondered that.
Well, here's
that's
the scale of this indicates that just nobody cares.
Exactly. And when you zoom out and you see the fraud that's happening in all these different sectors, you go, okay, yeah, well, they're definitely cheating in elections. 100%. And the Democrats look the other way. Or worse, maybe they're encouraging it. It all started in Minnesota, though. Dr. Oz confirmed Tim Walz's Minnesota spent, I don't know, just 13,000% more than they were expected to on autism care. Only 13,000. It's like a Federal Reserve construction project. They're only 13,000% over budget.
Are stealing the care that Americans deserve. Let's switch to Minnesota for a second. Minnesota expected to spend $3 million for autism. It's now $400 million. Why? Because everybody in the community signed their kids up as though they're autistic. Why? You were paying them. These moms literally took bribes to lie that their kids had autism. Rob, if one child in the neighborhood has autism, they get care, they get support, we can give them money. If every kid in the neighborhood has autism, nobody has autism because you can't get to a provider. Right. And we have...
I love that. If everybody in the neighborhood has autism, nobody has autism because you can't get to a provider. Now zoom out for a little bit. If you're a mom and you're willing to lie and say that your kid has autism so that way you can collect a check, who thinks that she's not also willing to cast a ballot for a check? I mean, these are questions that we have to ask. And then if everyone can cast a ballot, it's like nobody can cast a ballot. Because these votes are canceling out yours. Insanity. Absolute insanity. Republicans in Congress are pressuring Leader John Thune to do the right thing. And he should do the right thing. Greg Stubbe was talking about this on Newsmax.
If you look at my Twitter feed, I've been calling on Thune since the first government shutdown to do away with the filibuster. It is incredible to me that the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House. The American people have given us an edict to go and do conservative policy. And you have Thune that is forced to go and talk to Chuck Schumer to get anything passed because of the filibuster in place. That's not what the American people want. Chuck Schumer shouldn't decide what's happening in American politics right now because the Democrats are in the minority in the Senate. So it's very frustrating for conservatives. It's frustrating for people like myself. So, something as simple as the SAVE Act that simply says that you have to be a citizen of our country to vote in our elections, and you have to show identification in order to do that, can't even get a vote in the Senate because of the filibuster rule.
Well, actually, John Thune doesn't want to waste the time. We have sanctions to put on Russia, don't you know? Russia! Okay. This is an 80-20 issue. Donald Trump was elected with an overwhelming mandate from the American public. He got a popular vote. He got the Electoral College vote. He won all 7 swing states. And when you look at the polling data, and CNN did, it's 80-20.
A big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. But not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. It's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats.
71% of Democrats support it. 95% of Republicans support it. 76% of black voters support it. Like, what are we doing? Oh, geez, I don't know if we have enough time. I don't know. Time is a commodity. You know, that's the coin. Do we have enough time to save America? I don't know. Tell you what, we're running out of time. And if we can't get stuff done, the midterms could be absolute pandemonium. The Democrats are going to look at the midterms like their last shot. And you know what? It might be. Could be our last shot, too. Time to step up. It's time to step up. The American people need this. Leader John Thune says, allowing a standing filibuster, it's just time-consuming, guys. It's time-consuming. Speaker Mike Johnson, on the other hand, huge fan of the SAVE Act and wants to get it done and get it done quickly. Now, you're looking at 2 leaders here, one who clearly is in the president's corner, Mike Johnson, and one who absolutely is not. Now, I don't know why John Thune isn't in President Trump's corner. I know he didn't like him. I know he wanted other choices for the nominee for 2024. But we're here today, and the American people chose Donald J. Trump to be the president. And overwhelming numbers of Americans support passing the SAVE Act. Why can't we get it done? Mike Johnson supports it.
SAVE Act attached to it.
Well, look, we are going to be fighting for the SAVE Act. And I'll tell you why this is so important. We've passed it twice in the House. And we will pass it again. The SAVE Act just simply says you have to have verification of citizenship to register to vote. That's about a 90-10 issue on many of the polls in this country. And we're going to enhance it by what the president calls the Save America Act. And so it would be proof of citizenship to register to vote and voter ID, which is also about an 80 or 90% issue on the polling nationwide, depending on who you talk to. These are very important things to ensure that our elections are free and fair and safe. And that's a critical component of maintaining a constitutional republic. So this is a big priority for not just House Republicans, but for the American people. And we will continue to attach this to legislation and send it over. And it will be part of the discussion over the next couple of weeks. And we'll see how all that shakes out. But
this is a big, big issue for House Republicans. It is a big, big issue for the American public. What the hell do we need to do to get the Senate on the same page? Honestly. Donald Trump wants the SAVE Act to be passed. He was in the Oval Office yesterday. And while he's in the Oval Office, he basically called these guys out and said, guys, we need to get the SAVE Act passed. Trump demanded that they pass voter ID, also known as the SAVE Act. This was yesterday inside the Oval Office.
We should have voter ID, by the way. We should have a lot of the things that I think everybody wants to see. Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Democrats, but I think, interchangeable.
Think of it. We don't have voter ID. And the Democrats don't want it. And the reason they don't want it because they want to cheat. Because there's no reason in the world, and I love that debate, Lindsay. I love saying, well, why don't you want voter ID? And you watch them say, I don't know, I just
make them vote.
No, it's a terrible thing. So anyway, anybody else?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. We need to apply maximum pressure here. We need to get loud on social media. We need to make those phone calls. You need to call your senator. You need to call Leader John Thune's office and say the American people demand the SAVE Act be passed. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. I love these guys. You know who loves them more than I do? My wife. You know who loves Zero Res more than my wife? The carpets. The carpets love Zero Res. Every time they leave my home, the carpets look clean and they stay clean longer. But it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long for them to get messy again. I got 4 kids, 2 dogs, and I'm not trying to clean the carpets with nasty chemicals that leave the carpets crunchy and feel weird when you're walking on them barefoot. That's not fun. Nobody likes that. I will go with the guys that are the Maha of carpet cleaning. Zero Res uses their exclusive ZR water, which means no soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. Your carpets are going to look immaculate. Now, they don't just do carpets. They'll do air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. This is perfect if you're in a scenario like I am with a lot of kids and a lot of pets. It's also perfect if you just need to clean the carpets. Give my guys at Zero Res a call today. The reviews are through the roof. People love what Zero Res does in their home. 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376, or book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
My traffic map looks like it's already rush hour, but it's because crews are trying to fix the roads. We've got rolling roadblocks. Let's start in Pegram. Right lane block 40 westbound before McCrory Lane. Millersville, the left lane closed, 65 southbound past Louisville Highway. In Smyrna, 24 eastbound between Sam Ridley and Almaville Road. A Perry County man arrested after he allegedly started shooting at line crews trying to restore electricity. We'll tell you about these stories and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Did you guys know that Scott Bessent was testifying today? You see this?
Did not know.
He's been testifying, and he's been battling with Maxine Waters.
I bet she's destroying her.
It's poetry. It's poetry, Ken Weaver. This is Scott Bessent trying to explain to the Congresswoman how adding 10 to 20 million new people, newcomers under Joe Biden, had an impact on the demand for housing.
I believe the ranking member does not understand the definition of generalized inflation versus one-time price increases. I would also note that housing, especially for working Americans, a Wharton study has shown that the mass unfettered immigration, adding 10 to 20 million new people demanding housing, Congresswoman, is what caused a great deal of housing inflation for working Americans. So you and the Biden administration should be ashamed.
Which is also why we are seeing rents. There was just a recent media story on this. Rents are going down partially because of that enforcement. Mr. Secretary,
yes, it is supply and demand continues to work.
Supply and demand's a real thing. Don't tell Maxine Waters. She gets very upset. She's been getting very upset. She actually told Scott Bessent at one point to shut up.
10 and 20 million immigrants.
Can you
look
shut
at the
up?
housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gonna leave his time as a beast.
She is a moron.
Hold on, it gets better. It gets better. Okay. He said, can you maintain some level of dignity? After she told him to shut up. Now she has a meltdown here as Scott Bessent hits her with more facts.
Levied tariffs on housing production goods like lumber and steel, as well as appliances. These tariffs will result in half.
Lumber is
reclaiming my time. You don't get to talk.
Lumber is at a 5-year low, Congresswoman.
Reclaiming my time.
Let's just have the facts.
Reclaiming my time.
She said lumber's at a 5-year low, Congresswoman. You don't get to talk. You don't get to talk. Hold on, one more time. Just.
Levied tariffs on housing production goods like lumber and steel, as well as appliances. These tariffs will result in half.
Lumber is
reclaiming my time. You don't get to talk.
Lumber is at a 5-year low, Congresswoman.
Reclaiming my time.
I like the way she's saying it, though.
Wow,
that's a hotkey right there. That's whenever we get a seminar caller that wants to keep talking over me, I just want to.
Reclaiming my time.
11:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Perry County, a man has been arrested for allegedly shooting near linemen who were trying to restore power. Deputies say Robert West confronted the workers, then went back to his home and opened fire. Investigators say no injuries were reported. The sheriff there called the incident, quote, a real shame, as crews continue recovery efforts there in the area. Congressman Andy Ogle's demanding a major overhaul of Nashville Electric Service, saying its handling of the recent winter storm is unacceptable. In a letter to state leaders, Ogle cited repeated infrastructure failures, poor communication, days-long outages. He also criticized NES's governance, calling its appointed board, quote, insulated from taxpayers who depend on the utility. Tennessee lawmakers pressing the Highway Patrol on thousands of DUI arrests involving drivers who later tested completely sober. Not all of those were from the Highway Patrol. Colonel Matt Perry said troopers base arrests on driving behavior and signs of impairment, not test results. He noted some zero alcohol tests came from deadly crash scenes where blood draws are mandatory. Perry insists the agency has nothing to hide and is reviewing all 0 cases. And the MNPS board has voted unanimously to change school start times in Nashville starting in 2026. High schoolers get a slightly later start at 7:25, with elementary kids beginning at 8:10, middle schoolers 8:55. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at USS United Structural Systems. All the ice is melting and it turns into water. I know. You didn't think that I knew that that's what happened, but it does. People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. And the water, it's getting into your crawl space. It's getting into your basement. And the water damage, not fixing itself. As much as you hope, you try, you pray, it ain't going to do it, and the foundation is going to take a hit, and the foundation problems don't get cheaper, and waiting is only going to make things worse. And if water's getting into your basement or your crawl space, you need some guys that you can trust. This is where United Structural Systems comes in. They've been serving Tennessee since 1994, specializing in waterproofing and foundation repair. These guys are going to send an expert to your house, not a sales guy, and that expert is going to track down exactly where the water's coming in from and install permanent solutions using American-made materials, all backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. There's not going to be scare tactics. There's definitely not going to be any temporary fixes. Just straightforward answers and work that holds up. If you're seeing moisture, cracks, doors that won't shut right, now is the time to act. Actually, you know what? Yesterday was the time to act, but today is pretty good too. Call United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. Find them online, ussTN.com. It's 11:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We got a lot to get to, a little bit of time, and we always run out of time on the show. It's only 3 hours long. We could probably do 8 hours. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily want to prep for an 8-hour show. But I feel like there's always enough content for an 8-hour show. I feel like we could.
Absolutely.
You ever, and I know you feel like this, sometimes I get so salty when it's like, I know people in TV, right? And they'll be like, oh, man, it's tough doing all that prep. And I'm like, you have a team of writers.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, so hard. I'm like, you have guys that edit all of your video and audio for you. They're like, yeah, you only have to do 1 hour. Right.
You have a teleprompter.
Explain to me. Explain to me. And I still feel like we could do more and more and more and more.
Oh, easy.
All right, we talked about the SAVE Act. It's probably never going anywhere because rhinos. We talked about Minnesota today. Tom Homan is down there. They're drawing down 700 agents. That sounds like a lot, but there were 3,000 ICE and CBP agents in there, so that's going to leave them with about 2,300. Tom Homan also confirmed that they are not touching any of the investigators. They are going to stay in place, digging into the fraud, which we all know these protests and these agitators have been an intentional distraction for. So we've covered all that, and we're at the end of the show, which means it's time for just one thing. Do you know what that means? Of course you do. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Every single day at this time, all the stories that wouldn't fill a whole segment, stories that we ran out of time to cover but want to mention at the very least, and stories that we just find fun. Some of them we find fun. I wouldn't classify the first story in the lightning round as fun, but it's a story for the lightning round, and it's the first one. Minneapolis Teachers Union president admits during an interview with Al Jazeera that elected Democrat officials are involved in the signal chats to hunt and stalk ICE agents. Weird. Now, there's been a lot of speculation that people like Attorney General Keith Ellison, that he had members of his team in the signal chats. There was also speculation that Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, who is an absolute lunatic, was in the signal chats. And now we're hearing it from the leftists themselves. Minneapolis Teachers Union president admits elected Democrat officials are involved in those ICE Watch signal chats to hunt and stalk ICE agents.
With Al Jazeera, the head of the Minneapolis Teachers Union, she proudly admits that elected officials are in signal chats. They're being used to share information about where these federal agents are. Listen.
The notion that people that are actively engaged in ICE Watch, in being vigilant in protecting our neighbors, in signal chat groups, running plates in their cars, doing patrols, that somehow we're ashamed of that activity, that somehow you could call our bosses or show our faces and then we would be shunned by our community. Our bosses are in the signal chats with us. Our elected officials are in the chats with us.
That's an interesting piece of news. You're hearing the voice of Marcia Howard. She's the Minneapolis Teachers Union president, and she said the quiet part out loud. And she said, our bosses are in the signal chats, and elected officials are in the signal chats.
So our faces, and then we would be shunned by our community. Our bosses are in the signal chats with us. Our elected officials are in the chats with us.
Shut it down. Find and prosecute everyone. Everyone. This is impeding. This is obstructing. This is not okay. Insanity. We knew it. But now it's confirmed. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. U.S.-India trade deal is official, and one of the big things is that President Trump got India to agree to stop buying Russian oil and instead buy American oil. Caroline Levitt confirming this yesterday.
Well, I have the great honor and pleasure of seeing President Trump interact with leaders all around the world. When it comes to Prime Minister Modi, I know he particularly enjoys their relationship and has a deep respect for the Prime Minister and for his country of India. They had a great call. It was very productive yesterday, and they struck a deal in which India has agreed to stop purchasing Russian oil, to buy more American oil from the United States of America, and potentially from Venezuela too. As you know, the president and his national security team are now dictating the commerce of Venezuela and those oil sales. So this directly benefits the American people as well. And in addition, India has agreed to invest more in the United States because of President Trump's call to action on that phone call yesterday. Prime Minister Modi committed to $500 billion of purchases of U.S. energy, transportation, agricultural products, and the U.S. tariff on India will now be at 18%. But American exports to India will face a tariff of 0%. So this is a great deal and a huge win for American workers, businesses, and consumers alike.
Tariffs for thee, but not for me. India bending the knee. I'm a huge fan of this. Donald Trump's economy, once again, working to the American people's advantage. To get India to stop buying Russian oil is a massive deal. Anybody that pays attention to BRICS and what the BRICS nations have been up to understands that. This is huge. This is huge. Part of the deal. The economy keeps humming, though. German-based manufacturer Kettenwolf just invested $34 million into a brand new factory in Auburn, Alabama.
10 from Lee County tonight. The city of Auburn will get a $34 million manufacturing investment via the German-based chain manufacturer Kettenwolf. That company is opening a manufacturing facility that is expected to create 70 jobs, and it's expected to open next summer.
It just keeps coming. Now I know 70 jobs. Listen, it'll start with 70 jobs. Who knows where it goes? But we're seeing the investment over and over and over again. Siemens Energy CEO announced a massive investment, $1 billion into American power and jobs.
Well, I do this because the U.S. market is just thrilling, right? And it's really the hottest electricity market today in the world. We see an unprecedented growth as never before. I said it before, I like also the approachability of the Trump administration. We've seen Secretary Berger, he's, let's say, highly interested on how we can help and how we can support to build energy dominance.
Do you think America is different now? Is it a different place to do business?
You see an incredible momentum in terms of getting things done, particularly on the AI side. And I think it's important really to address this AI supremacy, and it will require electricity. And this is where we're trying to help and trying to invest in the country and invest in workforce and training and education, and that is thrilling.
$1 billion from Siemens Energy. That was their CEO, Christian Bruch. I'm just glad that when we need electricity, we're going to count on Siemens and not, I don't know, NES. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. You ready for this one? Spencer Pratt has officially filed. Freudian slip. He filed to run for mayor of Los Angeles. And this guy could win. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention or keeping score on this one. Spencer Pratt was a reality TV star. He has gone full extremist after the Palisades fire and seeing just the fraud and the destruction and the lack of accountability from the local government. And he said enough is enough. And he's going to run for mayor.
Reality TV star Spencer Pratt filed his official paperwork, saying his message to voters is simple.
Because it's me or Karen Bass, and we have no other choice.
It seems like a pretty easy choice, actually. Without even knowing much of Spencer Pratt's policies, I feel like that's already an improvement.
Pratt was one of many living in the Pacific Palisades who lost their homes in last January's fires. He became a vocal critic of how Mayor Bass handled the fires and aftermath, announcing his candidacy for mayor at the one-year remembrance for the Palisades fires last month.
She should have resigned a long time ago. It's scary to think what's going on outside of the Palisades where they don't have somebody like me every day trying to expose and fight for accountability.
I'm here for it. Spencer Pratt's platform isn't just about the fires and the fraud and the lack of accountability. That's a huge part of it, make no mistake. His platform is ousting Karen Bass, auditing billions in homelessness potential fraud, audit the city government, open the books for any investigative agency that wants to look at it, and surge a crackdown on criminals. Los Angeles needs a good mayor. Many cities need a good mayor. Nashville needs a good mayor. But our mayor, as much as we can dunk on Freddie, not as bad as the mayor in Baltimore, which leads us to our next story in the lightning round. You were almost a little late on the lightning. Like you were right on the edge of being like good on the lightning and being late on the lightning. There's a flag on the play.
No!
DEI mayor of Baltimore is our next story in the lightning round. They bought a $165,000 SUV with tax dollars, and people are mad at him. And he said, well, it's because you're racist.
But with that, his vehicle is still $55,000 less than yours. So, again, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay, Tesla, we'll just stop you right there. We get it. We understand that your station has this severe right-wing effort underway. We get that. But you also, you guys are dragging this thing out and also not including all the facts.
Because you guys happen to be conservative, your critiques on us spending $165,000 on an SUV, not valid.
And when you look at a base price for SUVs, base price of SUVs now, as you know, between $90,000 and $100,000. You're talking about a police vehicle with police equipment on it added on top of that vehicle. It's very simple. And when you look at, these are not astronomical costs, right? You guys, and your station in particular, would never ask the President of the United States how much the beast costs. You wouldn't do that. You would never do that. This is ridiculous. Let it go.
I mean, there's a little bit of a difference between the President of the United States and the mayor of Baltimore, though. One could argue Baltimore is far more dangerous than D.C.
Next question.
For Governor Moore as well, his car costs about $78,000 to $80,000, and he drives across the state. Governor Homan's car costs $70,000 now. Again, that was bought when he was state.
That's a long time ago. And I also would, well, you looked at, I understand that. I did answer the question. Just because you didn't get the answer that you wanted in your racist slant, there's one thing.
Oh, got it. I spent way too much on an SUV, especially compared to my counterparts. And you know why you're asking me about that? You're racist. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. You were good on that one. I'll give you that one. I will. I'll give credit where credit's due. You were quick on the lightning there.
You sure about that?
I am. New ads are going up for the Super Bowl. Not the TV commercials. We're not talking about that. But billboards all over San Francisco, and it's making the locals uncomfortable. It's a beautiful thing. It's a bit of poetry. The billboards say Defensive Player of the Year, ICE. And then it has an ICE agent holding a trophy. Let's listen to the local call of this news story.
A new digital billboard at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco is evoking mixed reactions.
It made me sick to my stomach.
It's an ad that shows support for ICE.
They have a job to do, too. That's it. I don't have a problem with them.
The billboard reads, Defensive Player of the Year, ICE.
Based.
A group that calls itself American Sovereignty is behind the billboard. We tried to reach out to them to learn more about their motivation, but have not been able to reach anyone.
What's your motivation? Supporting ICE? So you're telling us you're racist. It's like, no. Locals, very upset. This elderly woman with short hair who owns probably more than one cat has something to say.
I'm worried for my neighbors. I'm worried for what is happening, and I'm worried to see it escalating here.
Worried for my neighbors. I'm not worried when the pedophiles and the rapists and the gang members and the murderers and the fraudsters are running wild. I'm nervous when they're apprehended. You keeping score at home? Of course you are. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. I got one more. Jasmine Crockett. People be texting. Jasmine Crockett. She's pushing old hoaxes, brother. She's back on the hoaxes. You know what she'd be talking about?
China.
No, actually. Haiti.
Obviously.
Do you remember when those evil, Nazi, bigoted, Gestapo, slave patrol, and border patrol agents were whipping them Haitian migrants? Yeah, we all remember it was a big hoax. Jasmine Crockett doesn't want you to forget about that.
And the final point that I typically make is around understanding the root causes of migration. If people will remember, there were a lot of people that said that Vice President Harris was the border czar, and that wasn't really her title, but she was given some responsibilities as relates to the border, and it was more so to understand root causes of migration. So the example that I usually use specifically in Texas is when the Haitians showed up at our border, there were these images of officers on horseback that were beating Haitians back into the water. And I was like, no one ever asked the question of why are the Haitians showing up at our border? And
I don't really care why they're showing up. We know why they were showing up because Joe Biden rolled out the red carpet for them. But let's be clear, very, very, very clear. No Haitians were whipped. She's on an interview with Jessica Tarlov from The Five, who is a Democrat. Jessica Tarlov knows that no Haitians were whipped. There was no pushback against this hoax, but this is how propaganda works. You see, if you repeat a lie over and over and over again, it becomes part of public consciousness, right? Like, there's very fine people on both sides. Like, we all know that was a hoax, but if you repeat it enough, they hope that it just nestles inside the brain of the leftist voter and stays there and lives forever. So they're going to keep repeating these hoaxes as long as humanly possible. This was, 2021? The president, VP, head of DHS, and virtually everybody in the mainstream media claimed that the Border Patrol agents were whipping Haitian migrants. It was based on a short video taken at the border. It was completely false. There were no whips. No migrants were beaten. Horse patrols still exist today. And you want to know the best part of all of this? I'll tell you the best part of all of this. The video where the evil Gestapo, Nazi, bigoted slave patroller border agent was whipping the Haitians, that guy who was videoed whipping them, which he never did, he was controlling his horse, he actually won an award from DHS in 2024 for his service at the border. Got it. Makes a lot of sense. That does it for today's edition of Lightning Round. It's 11:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We're passing the baton to Chad Benson. What are you talking about on the show today?
Oh, it's White Woman Wednesday. Got a lot of crazy white women talking about crazy white women stuff. One Hit Wonder Wednesday. We all got some good one hit wonders today. We'll talk a little bit of Epstein. We'll talk a little bit of the economy. We'll talk a little bit of Minnesota. Savannah Guthrie. That whole thing is still weird.
Dude, did you see what they said about the pacemaker?
Yeah.
That the pacemaker pinged the iPhone at 2 a.m. on, was it Sunday night? And that was the last time it pinged?
Oh.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all. So we got all kinds of fun stuff today.
The Savannah Guthrie story is wild.
You look sharp, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.